In this movie, I'm only going to bring in my background text, which establishes the visual arts as the complex here. And I'm going to select my font for both the background text as well as the links. If we run this, you'll see that the creative photography is the longest link that I have here. So that'll be the one that I'll use as a reference to set up my initial dummy, and then everything will line up accordingly. The other thing you may notice is that I've changed the interface ever so slightly. The animation, or I should say the interface, begins with the black arrow invisible. It's the alpha is turned up all the way. So as soon as you click on any of the selections here, so if I go to drawing and painting, you'll notice the arrow is hiding right around in here, and when you click on it, it'll fade in place, and then it kind of appears and shows the location. And then from then on out, it works pretty much the same way in terms of how it was working before. So the way that's set up, it's relatively easy, is the everything gets reset at the beginning of the animation. And so here you can see that I've got the map center, which were those crosshairs. Those are the alpha is being set to 0 as well. The arrow itself, here's where it's being set to 0. And then the coordinates of the x and y of the arrow are lining up with wherever the center happens to be. And that way, if you want to have the arrow appear from this corner over here, you don't have to worry about dragging it over. It'll automatically start in that location. So you'll notice that the arrow now is going to appear from over there. So um, anyway, for now, I like to have this here and this in the general neighborhood. It always realigns anyway. Okay, so let's get to our text box. First of all, let's go select a text. So I'm going to go ahead and rename this, call this buttons, and I'll drill into my text box. And as soon as I see this little globe here, that lets me know that I can select the web fonts. So I'll go to the Adobe option, and I'm going to whittle down my filter to sans serif typefaces and bold. And I'll scroll through here and find something that I could potentially use with my modernist structure here, the art department. So that looks almost close to the Johnston typeface, but I'll probably end up replacing this anyway, just so to make sure that the fonts look correct with one. So I'll select that. That's going to replace the typeface. It's actually downloading to my Animate application. And once it's downloaded, then I have to click on the font choices to find it. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in the text from my code to size it up. So let's go to the web fonts, and here's the typeface. I already lost track which one it was. I think it was this one. And now I'm going to go to my code, and I'm going to steal the creative photography text. I don't need the quote in there though. Copy that. I'll drill back in here to select all and paste, and I'll just take a quick look at it for now. So it clearly needs to be bigger. So let's select our text, and we'll go ahead and make it, let's see what 35 looks like. And I need to make the box a little bit bigger. And the other thing I need to look at is that linking connection, so the hit area. So I'm going to go to the hit area and see how big the box is. So resize that. Now if you want to, you can always take this and drag it over here, and then it's right on top of that box, and I'll lock my text so I don't accidentally select it. Now I can grab my box and just drag that over here if I can get it. Oh, got to get the free transform tool. Now I can hold the option key down so it constrains from the left hand side, and I can drag this down a little bit just like that. So that'll be my hit area. Okay, so now I want to put this back in the hit area location, so I'm just dragging this over there. And go back to this frame. Let's take it for a test run. And might be a little too big, but you can see that this is still working. Yeah, I'm going to fine tune this off camera, I think. And just so I don't have to spend a lot of time making choices. So let's grab that text. Whoops. Drill in there. Oh, it's locked. Okay, and I just want to make it a little bit smaller. So I'll make it 30 for now. And I'll come back and worry about the size, the fine tuning later, but I want to take a peek at it. Okay, so that feels a little bit better. My map feels like it needs to be moved over now. And so I'll go back to the main scene. And I'm going to lock everything except for the background and the buttons layer too. And that way I can select these movie clips that essentially function as the targets for the arrow. Whoops. So just moving that over with my cursor key and just do a quick return. Again, I'll fine tune this later. I'm just making some general broad brush changes here. And I'll leave this one at this. Okay, so now I need to worry about my background. So I'm going to select text again, and in the background layer, I'm going to click my text box, and in here I'm going to type in visual arts, and I'll make that big. And I'm thinking maybe around, maybe let's see what 230 looks like. I want it to be big, and didn't realize that had such a soft corner. And that should be an S. Okay, so, and, yeah, that doesn't look like the right font. Let's try this one. That looks better. I'll have to come back and change those. Okay, so I want to also make this bold. So we'll go with bold. And I also am going to want to make it slightly gray. I like it when it overlaps behind the background in here. So I'm going to distribute that to the to another layer underneath. Command Shift D. And again, I still want to make this bigger, but just so that I can get everything dialed in, I'll go ahead and finish this up. So again, over here, and select the same typeface. And let's one last look here. Make sure everything's starting to look okay. Yeah, that works for me. I think what I'll do is now I'll go back to the main scene, grab, lock this guy over here. Let me zoom down here. So I'll lock that, and I'll lock the background. And now I can grab these, and I can move these down here and start to see what it's starting to look like. I may end up getting two columns in here, and I can't help myself. I want to fine tune it anyway. So I'll stop there, but I will make the text gray. So here's my fill color. I'll make it a light gray. One last look at it. I'll probably make it slightly lighter than it is right now. Okay, so I'll lock that again. select these guys, and for now I'm just going to move them lower, and then I'll grab, well, I'll leave it like that. Again, this whole thing is kind of wacky, so I'm going to want to rearrange everything, and I'll do that later on. But that's basically it. That's all I wanted to do, was to bring in the type and bring in the background information. I'll worry about my layout later, like I said, off camera. In fact, I might even organize it before I start the next movie. But for now, that's how you get your font in. In the next movie, what we're going to be doing is we're going to create text boxes so that when the arrow comes and points to these individual locations, the little text box is going to show what the area of the concentration is, as well as the room number for that particular location. Okay, see you in the next movie.